Okay, today we're going to set up our paper for gridding our rodeo art. You're going to need a long 18-inch ruler, a pencil. Okay, we're going to get started. We've turned our paper horizontally. Line your ruler up at the top edge of your paper with the edge of the ruler along the edge of the paper. You can see this line right here. It should be lined up with your paper. Now we're going to mark all the odd numbers. So we mark out 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. Again, that was 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. Then we're going to slide down to the other end of the page. Notice I did not turn my ruler and I did not turn my paper. That's in case your paper isn't cut perfectly. This will make a perfect box on the inside as long as you slide the ruler down to the other end. It'll measure exactly right. If you don't do it like this, you might end up with crooked lines. Now we're going to line it up along the edge of the page, just like I did up here, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to mark odd numbers. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. Again, that was 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. Now we're going to connect the lines. In order to connect the lines, I take my pencil and I put it on one of the lines at the top. I line my ruler up with it. Then I slide my ruler till it matches the other line. Then I'll lightly draw a line connecting those two together. You're going to do that on all of them. Make sure they line up. If you're doing it like this, you can see it doesn't quite line up. See how it doesn't match down here, but it matches up here? That's not acceptable. You actually need to make sure that you move it so that they line up perfectly and draw your line. You want to draw your lines lightly so that they can be erased later. So the lighter you draw them, the better your picture is going to come out. There, this is what it looks like when all of the lines have been drawn. You can see they're all perfectly evenly spaced out and the lines match one another. When you're finished, turn your paper vertically so I know you're ready to move on. Okay, now we're going to do the top section. So to do this, we're going to line our ruler up along this top line right here. And you're going to do the same thing. We're going to mark odd numbers again. Notice the end of my ruler matches the end of my paper. And then I've lined up right along this line. So here we go, odd numbers. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Again, that was 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. Once you've done this, you're going to slide your ruler down to the other end and line it up along this bottom line. And we're going to do the same thing. Mark odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Make sure you're drawing light so that you can erase this later. Again, that was 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Now you're going to connect your lines together, just like we did before. Again, to do this, you're going to put your pencil on one of the lines, line the ruler up, move the bottom of the ruler so it matches the other line, and connect your lines lightly together. Do it for the whole thing. Remember, if it looks like this, where it's a little bit off, you can see my line is over here, but this line matches, that's not acceptable. You have to move it to where both the lines meet the ruler. And draw your line. Make sure you're drawing your lines lightly so that they can be erased later. I'm drawing my lines a little bit darker than I'd like you to draw yours, just so that you can actually see them. Okay. When you're finished, it will look like this. You'll have a 1-inch border along the outside with 2-inch squares on the inside. When you're finished with yours, if it's horizontal, I'd like you to turn it to where it faces horizontally. If it's vertical, I'd like you to turn it to where it's facing vertically. And I'd like you to write your name in the bottom right-hand corner. So if it's horizontal, you write your name over here in the bottom right-hand corner. If it's vertical, you'd write your name and your class period right here in the bottom right-hand corner. Make sure you write legibly, that means neat, write legibly so that I can read it, and don't forget your class period. So if mine is vertical, I'm writing it here, and let's just say I'm in 4-9. Okay? If mine was horizontal, I'd be writing it right here, bottom right-hand corner, and my class period. All right, then you're going to look at your picture on your Google Drive or wherever you have it saved, and you can label these individual large boxes just depending on what your picture is labeled. So you want them to match your picture. Make sure that when you do label them, you label them very, very lightly, and that if your picture is vertical, you're working vertically. If your picture is horizontal, you're working horizontally. It does make a difference, and you will have a very difficult time doing this project if you have the orientation wrong. So it really does have to be placed vertically if you're doing a vertical picture, and horizontally if you're doing a horizontal picture. All right, if you have questions, please raise your hand, and I'm happy to come help you.